Was this figure from 5 years ago worth a re-release? Find out here on... Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Newman, and today we're going to be unboxing Soundwave and Ravage. It comes from ThreeZero Toys. It's 11.2 inches in height, made of die-cast metal parts, based on the Transformers Bumblebee film. Officially licensed, LED illuminated eyes, includes interchangeable parts and heads for different displays, and requires 2 AG13 batteries. It comes with the Soundwave figure, the Ravage figure, a sonic cannon, 4 pairs of hands, left command hand, and a figure base. So I haven't purchased these figures from BigBadToyStore.com. They're a great online retailer. You should give them your business. They're a little pricier than your big box retailer, but they have a better selection, better customer service, and quite frankly, I'm never going to recommend the bigger box stores anyway, so yeah. So on the front of the package, we have the name of the figure itself, as well as which film it is based off of, the ThreeZero logo, the Autobot logo, the Transformers logo, and most obvious, a photograph of the figure itself, with a filter. Opening up the package, we can see a nice window of the figure itself, wrapped in plastic. There are Velcro fasteners for the inbox collectors, and another photograph of Soundwave and Ravage. The sides of the box have a digitized Decepticon logo, as does the back of the box. There's also some copyright and manufacturer's info. Alright, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. Alright, now we have the figure in hand and out of package, and look at this figure. It is fantastic. The amount of detail that goes into these Transformer figures from ThreeZero is nothing short of astounding. It's beautiful to look at. Paint application is excellent. There are little scuff marks everywhere for wear and tear. Sculpt is beautiful. Looks like a very good representation of the film version of this character. And even if you're not a fan of the films, it is still a great interpretation of the G1 Soundwave design. Now, normally in this part of the review, I would go over the articulation of whatever figure I'm unboxing. However, these 1/6 scale figures tend to be a little trickier because of camera angle. So we're going to be doing something a little different. We'll be going over the articulation in the broadest sense possible. Head is on a ball joint, arms go up to about yay high, and there are double joints in the elbows. We've got articulation in the abs. There's kind of an ab crunch there. We have double knee joints, we have articulation in the ankles. This bad boy has at least 80 points of articulation, which is kind of insane. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that this figure comes with. So it comes with an extra pair of splayed out hands. Sculpt is really good. We've got a 2 pointing finger and a gripping hand. We have 2 relaxed hands right here. And we have the blasters for Ravage and Soundwave's gun. Very nice. Great sculpt, great paint application, looks excellent. And here's an attachment for Ravage. Excellent sculpt, excellent paint application. And this is actually die-cast metal. That's a fake sound effect though. So here is another trigger hand. And lastly, we have his shoulder cannon. The sculpt is amazing, the paint application is fantastic. This looks phenomenal. And like everything else, there's a weathered look to it. And nope, I'm actually a liar. I almost forgot about Ravage himself. All wrapped in plastic and folded up so that you can insert them into Soundwave's chest. This looks really good. Again, the paint application is excellent, sculpt is excellent. This looks quite amazing. And now the last and final piece, we have the stand for the figure. It's all one solid piece of plastic. Yeah, there's the back. It's got the Bumblebee Transformers logo on it. And here is the stand attachment. And it's adjustable, as you can see. Alright, so let's get this put together. And there we have it. We have our stand. Now, taking a closer look at the figure itself, you can see why it has so many points of articulation. A lot of the parts of this figure are segmented, and they have their own individual ball joint or hinge. This allows for a greater range of movement for a figure that has a lot of rigid edges. And because these ball joints and hinges are in most cases detachable, if you contort your figure in a way that it really shouldn't go, they'll pop off before they break. Now, the one drawback to this is that some of these are a little difficult to get back onto the ball joint, but quite frankly, I'd rather that than it break entirely. Now, checking out his front trunk space, the interior is lined with a nice illustrated sticker. Now, testing out that trunk space, let's see if Ravage fits in here. And oh man, like a glove. That is satisfying. Very good. Let's go ahead and get his arm cannon attached. We're going to get this die-cast metal piece stretched out. All right, there we go. And this goes in this hole right here. And it's a nice secure fit. And there's a peg hole in his shoulder cannon, as you can see right here. And also a very secure fit. And now we have articulation in this shoulder cannon. Haha, this is fantastic. Very, very nice. Now, in order to use the figure stand, we're going to have to first take out this piece in his booty butt cheeks and insert this piece right here from the figure stand and insert back in. And there you go. So that allows for an extremely secure fit. And also it allows you to get him into some poses that would defy the laws of gravity. Now, that being said, I wouldn't get too crazy with how you pose this guy on this stand, because if the center of gravity is too off, he will still tumble off of your shelf. Now, we're not going to go over all of the swap out hands, just really this trigger hand. Now, these hands are a little bit gummier than the rest of the plastic, so that allows you to get this gun in here and it still be secure. The swap out was a little difficult, so I did have to warm up the hands with a blow dryer, but I'm not hating because it allows for a secure fit. Rounding back to the Ravage figure, it's in there so tight that you're going to have to use gravity to get it out. But I honestly don't know how many people are actually going to keep this guy permanently in Soundwave's chest, because it seems like a waste of a really good figure. Now, in case you haven't already figured it out, this figure and this line, they're not actual transforming Transformers. So this is the closest that you're going to get to transforming this figure. He's not exactly a cassette tape, but he does transform. As previously stated, when he was a cube, the paint application and sculpt is fantastic on this thing. There is some limited articulation. I wouldn't even say that is that limited, to be perfectly honest. I think the articulation is pretty fair. The only complaint that I could have is that you can't really articulate the head from side to side, which isn't a deal breaker. I just wished I could have gotten some articulation in that head. The jaw does articulate though, so that's a win. All of his extra pieces fit on very nicely and snug, so I'm not too worried about any pieces falling off of this guy. For the light-up feature, you're going to need a small Phillips head screwdriver and 2 AG13 button batteries, not included. If you can't find any button batteries that are AG13 at your local hardware store, look for the 357 button batteries. On my ThreeZero DLX Optimus Prime from the Transformers Rise of the Beast review, I didn't go over the light-up features because I didn't have any of the button batteries. So I promised my viewers, all 2 of you, that I would make a short detailing the light-up features sometime in the future, but I never got around to it. So this is me finally fulfilling that year-old promise by showing you the light-up features for the Optimus Prime head. And here we go. It uses the same size battery as Soundwave, so lucky for me. The on and off button for both of these figures is going to be the crest on each of their respective heads, right above their eyes. Segueing right into comparisons, you can see the size difference between Soundwave and Optimus Prime. I didn't realize how much bigger Soundwave was going to be. He is taller, but Soundwave is an overall chunkier figure than Optimus Prime. And for another size comparison, here is Ravage in comparison with both of these guys. And lastly, we're going to bring in a couple of 1/12 scale figures so you can get the feel of the heights of these 2 guys. Here is Lionel from the Thundercats Motu collab, and here is the 40th anniversary Masterverse He-Man. So obviously these are not small figures, so just make sure that you have enough space if you do decide to get this guy. And lastly, before we wrap up, another promise yet unfulfilled. The arm cannons for the Optimus Prime figure that I just brought out actually also has light-up features. So you just have to unscrew that, take it apart. You're going to take the LED light holster out, put in the batteries, pop this bad boy right back in, make sure it's lined up properly, put it back together, screw it up tight, and there you have a light-up feature for his arm cannons. Looks really cool. Now the button for this is actually at the very top. I gotta be honest, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like how much pressure you have to put on it in order for it to switch settings or turn it on and off. But this just could be user error and not an indication of the toy itself. But back to the figure that we are actually talking about, Soundwave and Ravage. So what do I think about these non-transforming Transformers? Well, you know what? Much like the Optimus Prime figure, I think this is fantastic. An oxymoron in plastic, but fantastic. My complaints are minimal, but my praise exorbitant. It's just a lovely, wonderful figure. It is pricey though. I purchased it for $257 at Big Bad Toy Store as a pre-order, but it is now $271 because of tariffs and capitalism. So it's not an absurd increase, but still $14 is $14. So while I do recommend this figure, just check your finances first. Just make sure that you're making the right decision. And with that, we're going to call it a wrap. I'm Rip It Open with Newman on several socials. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Hit the bell for notifications, and I will check you later.